PR link building versus conventional link building. Hello and welcome to the May 2024 edition of the Majestic SEO panel, where we're going to be covering what is PR link building, what is conventional link building, and where do these two areas of link building converge in 2024. I'm your host, David Bain, and joining me today are four wonderful SEO, digital PR, and link building experts. So let's say hello to them, starting off with Amit.
Hi, I'm Amit Raj, the founder of the Link Sky. You can find us on thelinksky.com, and we're a link building agency. We do some ad hoc digital PR stuff as well.
Superb. Thank you for joining us, Amit. And thank you for joining us, Jenny Hill, as well, here from Minneapolis. If you're listening to us live, if you're watching us live, then try and ask a few questions, comment on what the panelists are saying. We'll try and incorporate as part of the discussion today. Also with us today is Nick.
Hey, I'm the founder of Ranko Media, and you can find us at rankomedia.com. We do SEO and digital PR, full stack.
Superb. Thanks for joining us, Nick. And another one of the panelists today is Eva.
Hi, I'm Eva Cheng. I'm a digital PR consultant, and I'm all pro digital PR link building.
All pro digital PR link building and all against conventional link building. We will hold that thought and maybe find out more in a little moment after we've heard from Alex.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure and honor being here today. So I run a relationship-based link building agency that is called Digital Olympus, and I guess we are more on the side of a traditional link building, which means we are sending email outreach emails and so on. But yeah, let's see, right, how things will go today and what kind of things we can discuss.
Absolutely. Look forward to it. So, Eva, let the cat out of the bag in terms of what side of the fence you're on. You're on digital PR today. Is that you're always on that side, or are you just on that side for today?
I think it's because of the job that I'm in and what I do for a living. So digital PR is very much my cup of tea and what I do day to day. Whereas conventional link building, depends on which part we talk about, but some of it I do as well. So it's a bit of both.
And Nick, I understand that digital PR is your cup of tea as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at traditional link building. I would think of it as digital PR as well. I mean, you're kind of trying to tell a story anyway, right? Unless I'm just against the paying for links or buying links kind of thing. So.
Okay. So obtaining links that don't necessarily tell a story is something that you would go for?
I think obtaining links that do tell a story is what I would go for.
Right. Okay. Amit is nodding away there. What side of the fence are you on today, Amit?
Yeah, I suppose conventional link building, but I think like my understanding of digital PR is maybe different, and I think some people have a different idea of what link building actually is. Like, I think we've gone past the point of people talking about quality. Like, I think everyone's agreed that you need to go for quality and relevance and these kind of things. So for me, I think the question is, do you want to go for top tier media, or with conventional link building for me is more about sites that are like on the lower to moderate authority or traffic level. And that's generalizing because sometimes they do have pretty high traffic, but that's, for me, that's like conventional link building, whereas digital PR is like top tier media, and you're not so focused on the industry or the relevance in all cases.
So that's interesting what you're saying about your understanding of what digital PR is, because I guess different people have different definitions for that. So we'll come back to that just in a second. Just after hearing from Alex. So Alex, are you a conventional link building person?
Yeah, exactly. I've been doing this for more than 8 years, but I don't really think a traditional link building equals to buying links. And I think we've already reached the end of there quite some time ago of, let's say, like called SEO link building, where people, right, obviously acquire links for kind of exchanging links for money, I would say, right? And we've never been doing so, right? So yeah, but I think the main idea behind acquiring any link is to build up a strong brand entity, right? And that is exactly why you need to acquire links from other brands, and that's what we do.
Okay, a great definition there. And I was looking for the nods of other faces when you said that the main definition of link building is to enhance that brand entity. But I didn't get any nods, I don't think. But we'll ask other people about that just in a second there. But Eva, your profession is digital PR. So Amit was saying it depends on the definition of digital PR. So what is your definition of what digital PR is?
So I would say my definition is to utilize the news and current trends, whilst also to benefit link building for a particular client or for campaigns. So it's essentially PR. So it's any news opportunities that I come across. So I don't know, like Baby Reindeer is big on Netflix at the moment. If you had like a client who could talk about the mental health impacts of stalking someone and all of that sort of stuff, or how to tell if you're starting to become a little bit of a stalker, those kind of things. It's like a great way of opportunity of actually jumping on like trends and building links for a client.
Nick, is there anything you'd add to that?
I think to me, digital PR is just PR on the internet. And I don't know, it seems like I'd say like even guest blogging would be, some sort of digital PR, because that's like a thought leadership type of thing. But you can get links with it, So I think digital PR is just PR on the internet, and you can get links with it if you aim it right. But there's, I think, an awareness factor that you can consider. If you're doing media outreach, you can consider that, maybe we should target media outlets that our customers are reading versus just all of them, right? And maybe niche the story down a little more, or have a different angle with it. While link building is really just about the SEO element of getting the link, right? So I think I'm on the digital PR fence just because of the added value of the awareness factor and the potential to drive, referral traffic and sales, as well as links.
So is digital PR just link building with the audience in mind rather than actually with the technical SEO aspect in mind?
I think so. I don't really think digital PR, I don't think of digital PR as link building necessarily. I think it's used as a way to get links. But to me, digital PR is literally just PR on the internet. So I can do PR and get someone on TV or in a magazine or on a blog or in a digital magazine, but that one will come with a link. So it's like I use PR focused on digital outlets to get links, right? Because links come with it. Credit links to the content, whatever. So I guess that's how I define it.
Okay,
which is
so
a little different.
It's I guess marking it off as a success, whether you get a link or you don't, as long as you get the brand mention and that awareness. Alex, would your clients be satisfied if they just received a brand mention and some greater notoriety in their particular sector?
No, not really. So the thing there that you have, in my opinion, you have to define a little or kind of separate those things, just because brand mention, they are very important actually, and they are an essential part of your brand presence, online brand presence, what I mean. And, even though it's quite hard, the problem here is that it's quite hard to tell a client, right, what is the exact value of them, right? So we can't really tell, okay, if we take 100%, out of this 100%, I don't know, 50% goes just to do follow links, 30% goes to no follow links, and the rest goes to brand mentions, something like, if it was like that, there was an exact formula that will kind of showcase how your winning backlink profile or how your winning online brand presence should look like, then it will be very easy. But people are very, very transactional, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, they are.
So it's very hard. It's quite easy to talk about that, especially whenever you have such a lovely panel of people and experts that understand, right, the value of link, the value of brand mentions, and they've been really doing it for quite a long time, and they see, right, how it works. but it's quite
Yeah.
hard to sell this to clients. But I think we're really moving in the right direction. We've been really seeing a lot of changes, right, with how people are kind of looking at links, evaluating links, right? And nowadays, whenever I tell that it's very important to look at branded traffic, no one is actually arguing about that, right? Because after the Google's helpful update, we see what's happening with media outlets that have no brand behind them, right?
Nick, are your clients still looking for links from authoritative domains, or are they just as happy with other metrics? Sorry, yeah.
I definitely think they're looking for the link for sure. So, you know, it is hard to sell the value of a placement without a link, unless there's like a spike in organic searches of the brand, or unless there's some kind of referral traffic, right? If you get a story published about your brand and people start searching for it, that's a KPI you could sell to. But if they're coming at you to buy the link, I may try a different approach, you know, that is to get the link. But it depends on who I'm selling to. You know, if I'm selling to a CMO or VP of marketing that really understands I need customers, and, you know, the link is kind of a variable, then it's like, it's easier to have the discussion of like, all right, we have to aim our outreach and fire and get what we get, you know. But then there are definitely the more transactional customers, which are usually less experienced in marketing, and come from maybe an advertising background, and they want the link for whatever dollar, regardless of what it seems as if it produces rankings or not, you know, because you can get one link and it does a lot, or you can get like a lot and it does nothing, you know. It's just always, I think it's always a difficult discussion to have, but it's more or less difficult depending on who you're talking to. So for my company, I tend to focus on selling to people who are more educated about marketing practices, just because it's easier for me to have success with my clients that way.
Okay, so that's just trying to define digital PR and its value and the way that you go about achieving success. What about more conventional link building? Amit, I mean, what would be an example of a conventional link that you would build for a client that they would be satisfied with, that you don't believe comes under the digital PR umbrella?
Yeah, so I think that's probably what we've got something in common with digital PR agencies, in terms of you want it to be as relevant as possible. So in an ideal world, what you want is you want the link to be, the site linking to you to be as contextually relevant to your content, to your business or whatever you're linking to. Ideally, for instance, you're in the wedding industry. Perhaps you know your audience is wedding planners. You want to go for organizations that are like professional organizations for wedding planners, for instance, would be one example. You want to try and get a link or a guest post in something like that. At the very least, you know, you want it contextually relevant at the page level, if it's not the domain level. But like I said, you wanna, that's like the perfect link to, obviously you want it, you know, it's your target audience, it's relevant to your content, to your business, because it increases the chance of potentially getting referral traffic. But again, we don't know. It depends on the page and the relevance of it. And then also Google will value that link because it knows that's relevant. You know, and I think Google is getting better at that, and we don't really know what they're going to do next, but I feel that's going to like give your link building an edge. And to be honest, probably your digital PR, because I think that's the next thing they'll look at, you know, with the was it Bill that was talking about the knowledge graph? I think Bill was on a Majestic episode, and he was talking to, so that I feel like that's like the next thing that's coming in. But again, that's just a theory. I've not got anything to back that up.
So, Amit, what metrics do you look at when you're trying to establish whether or not that you would want a link from a particular page?
So this is the thing. Things like DA and DR are very... You want that to be high, but often I have to educate the client that you can't only focus on that. So it's a very human metric, but the relevance is something we try to educate the clients about. Like, what is relevant to their target audience, or what's a sector that's within close proximity to what they do. And as well as that, you want the traffic to be a certain level, let's say at least 1,000 plus. But at the same time, use an SEO tool, it doesn't measure all the traffic. So, and you have to use maybe something like SimilarWeb, or you have to go on what the social media following is, or the likelihood they have traffic from other sources. That's very, some of this you can't prove, you can't define it in a hard metric, but when it's a legitimate business or organization or university or a school district, whatever it might be, there's a high likelihood that that's relevant and it's got relevant traffic.
And do you attempt to establish if the page you have in question is likely to have any significant volume of traffic? Because it's all well and good for a website to have decent traffic, but we've all been offered the opportunity to have links from websites that are sub pages and highly unlikely to have any traffic whatsoever.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, like I said, there's SEO tools, they'll measure things at the page level, but even they're not accurate. And sometimes search volume metrics are not accurate as well. I think we can measure it that way. It at least gets you in the right ballpark. But the reality is you're never really going to know. One thing you can do if you've got your attribution set up correctly is in Google Analytics, you could look at the referral traffic. And sometimes you can, if you search for those domains, you'll see click-through traffic. So we've done it. We've had it in that case sometimes, and it's not every link's going to do it, but it will drive referral traffic. It might even drive sales depending on where you got the link. But again, that's useful whether you're doing link building or digital PR. So attribution, I think, is important because then you can convince clients to, to keep spending with you.
Great. Okay, yeah, that's a great tip there. So to be actively measuring traffic and hopefully conversions directly from the page that you acquired the link on.
Yeah, as well as the SEO benefits, of course.
So Alex, maybe same initial question to you. So how do you go about determining whether or not it's worthwhile to get a link from a page that you've identified as a potential page to get a link from?
Yeah, that is a very good question. I think the problem there is more like in the way we look at things, right? If we look at things on a metric level, right? So we kind of evaluate websites or pages just by using, it doesn't matter, Majestic, Ahrefs, SEMrush, whatever it is, right? We look at domain ratings, domain authority, organic traffic, and so on. Or we look at a bit different metrics, right? So, how well Google understands the particular website as a brand entity, right? So let's imagine you can get a link on a website that have quite a lot of traffic, well, decent year, but the website itself is just a trash can, right? So, you kind of open it and you understand what I'm talking about, right? And we've been seeing these websites all over the place, right? So it's not a problem to kind of, identify them. And then we have a website of a quite well-known guy, right? So it's a personal website. And this website might not have a lot of traffic at all, might have, so domain rating, but the person is speaking everywhere, kind of, very much present on LinkedIn if we are talking about the B2B space and so on. So Google has a very clear understanding of this persona. I would always go with the link on this website of a person, right, that Google understands very well, rather than on a link of a website that doesn't really have any solid online presence, right? But the question is, one more time, it's very hard to sell this idea because links for me is kind of an investment, and you need to make good investments, because otherwise those links won't help you being recognized as strong brand entities, and they won't really send you enough signal. They will only work for a short period of time, and that is the reason why we see a lot of sites have those ups and downs. It's just because they made wrong decisions. They decided to go with easy links, the one that have good metrics, but the one that can't really generate enough trustworthiness, right? That type of signal. So that is my perspective on this. but one more time, we are not quite there.
So to summarize what you're saying, Alex, what I got from it was, if you have a choice of 10 different pages on which to potentially have a link, you would probably choose the one that's most likely to have an article that's written by an authority in their industry, someone that's perhaps a demonstrable personal entity online.
Or a brand, right? Or a brand. So, whatever, right? If it's not associated with a particular person, then I will choose a brand, right? So.
Great. Okay. So I guess to summarize what I feel has been discussed so far about what digital PR is about and what conventional link building is about, it sounds to me that you would define digital PR as looking for a specific audience and driving traffic to a website, a client's website, your own website. But conventional link building is looking to identify highly relevant pages based upon content and perhaps what a website is about overall, and getting links from pages that you feel search engines like Google would find as particularly relevant, and hopefully improving your rankings because of obtaining links from those particular pages. So I mean, it sounds like digital PR is on the audience side, and conventional link building is more on the technical SEO side. Is there an opportunity to do both at the same time, or is it necessary for both these specialisms to sit in separate chairs and do their own things?
I definitely think both at the same time is possible. Like, guest blogging is a perfect example of that, because you're going after the link and you can get some awareness if the website has readers. So I've gotten published on websites where I've gotten referral traffic and customers, like if I get on a big enough marketing blog, but I also got a backlink, and I can sometimes get a backlink to one of my blog posts and then it ranks better. So, if the site has readership, then to Alex's point, it is a good brand, and, it may drive traffic. So that's the digital PR side. And then the SEO side is you want the page to be authoritative and written by a good author and on a good domain. To make the page authoritative after it's published, what I do is I reach back out to the webmaster and I suggest internal links, because then it passes page authority to my guest post. And then I get the SEO value on the guest post as well as this digital PR benefit. So I have super powerful links that are going to last a long time, because in addition to focusing on websites that care about their audience for the SEO and PR benefit now, it's a value later, because these websites grow. Like, I wrote for Toast, which is a restaurant point of sale system. It was like a DR40 or something. Now it's in the 70s. They grow over time. So the links become valuable. And to Alex's point again about investment, it's a good investment if you get on a good website. And yeah, that's how I see it. With digital PR and link building are kind of the same. They live in the same world. And I think in the future, it's going to be more about it's going to be more audience focused. Because if you focus on the audience, the byproduct is good links, because you get on websites your customers are reading, and then you get links from websites that your customers are reading. And, it becomes one and the same.
So they live in the same world, but they're not necessarily the same person or the same types of people, because digital PR has to really understand people and relationships and audiences, and some technical SEOs love drilling down into data, not really thinking about audiences necessarily. But is it possible though for those two mindsets to really understand each other and work effectively together?
I would say so. Yeah. I would say from my experience at the moment is that we do actually consider the more topically relevant kind of sites. We don't just target your tier 1 publications, the main key publications that you would think of, I don't know, BBC or whatever. We do go for those niche kind of areas, which is probably more B2B and industry relevant kind of publications. It really depends on your client's overall strategy and the way they want to go with it, with their keyword ranking, if there's any particular area they want to focus on more, whether it's B2C or B2B. The way that we do digital PR, you can change the campaign to fit the kind of area that you're wanting to go with, based on the targets. Yeah.
What about the order that it's done in? So if you've got a client that's fairly fresh, that's launched a new website in the last year or so, maybe doesn't have that much authority online, is it right for them to focus more on traditional link building to begin with, get those articles published on their websites, get search engines aware of what it does and what its brand is really about, before focusing on digital PR? Or is it really right at that stage to do both things at the same time?
And that's definitely an it depends question.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes you have a website that's an easy niche and you can just do some guest blogging, get some rankings, and then get some traffic and sales, you know. But in some cases, digital PR would make more sense, because I don't know what everyone else's process looks like, but for me, if I'm doing digital PR, I have this process where like we do this kind of story research stage, and then we do content development, and then we publish a pitch, and we have like a massive list we download from Muckrack. Because with digital PR, you can use software to get a huge list of prospects pretty easily, like, 500 journalists or something. Even if they're at the same site, you can pitch them all, right? So with that, you can be faster with it. But with link building, it's like you really got to dig for your prospects. You really got to like go in Google and find a good one, and like use Hunter or something to find their email address. And it's a bit more like, with link building, you can have ongoing campaigns, that last months. You can build a piece of content, run like the skyscraper technique that Brian Dean invented, and that can last forever, as long as you have a huge bucket of prospects. But digital PR is like, all right, we did it, now what, and it can get a good amount of links up front, but it's very iterative. Your story can fail and then you have to do it again. But that's a hard question. I don't know. I guess I'll let someone else pick it up.
Amit, what are your thoughts on, I guess, how you would sell to potential clients, why they should use your services instead of perhaps a specialist digital PR agency?
Well, we've worked with clients that we knew were doing both. And what's interesting is they knew they had to do both. Some had done PR before. They were like, they'd had funding, they'd done PR, they had all this coverage, but they were not ranking for specific like keyword groups. They knew they were lagging with a lot of the content pieces. It was like, now you might call it entities, certain things they were kind of falling behind. And that's where they needed link building. It's almost like, and I don't know, there's all these theories about people looking into the patents about how this works. And I don't really know, but it's almost like sometimes you need link building to get that topical authority that's associated with that content or that subject area. That's what it seems. That sometimes I feel like you need to do link building in those cases, and maybe it's different for different brands. Like there's probably some brands don't need to do link building. There's probably some brands that don't need to do either. They probably don't need to do digital PR or link building, but that's a different story. But yeah, that's how I would, if I know that they've done PR, and they are lagging behind in certain areas, that's probably why. So we do need to get more specific. As well as that, with link building, you can still spread thought leadership message and things like that. But it's just like different. And sometimes it's like, for instance, we'll work with a company in the logistics sector, for instance. And we've done that where we got links in the logistics sector, like industry publications in their sector. And it worked because we had very specific stories in mind. But for me, I didn't see that as digital PR. I just saw that as link building. But probably in digital PR, they would target the same publication as well.
So you were kind of doing guest blogging?
Kind of great guest blogging, yeah. And what you find with some industry publications, it's like with link building, because you've done so much research, you then understand the topic. And then you know that they're going to like that idea. But at the same time, it might not work. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, that's so true. If you because you could do a lot of PR and still need link building if you need to rank for a specific keyword or go to a specific, like WebEx hired us for link building and they have tons of PR, So like big companies need it too if they're like, because the little guy can link build their way past you, if they're like smart with it. I've done that. I've link built past big companies, So It's a good weapon to have, even if you're a bigger company.
And I think as well as that, and again, probably Eva or Nick would know more about this, but do you not experience times where the news cycle is not making itself conducive to getting coverage? Let's say, for instance, some big news comes out about the royal family, which has happened a few times. It's really difficult to get something published because journalists are not covering anything else. So in those cases, it would have been good to have also been doing link building. But that's,
well, if you're doing digital PR, you definitely have to find a hook. Like you couldn't publish a brand story because they'd be like, get out of here. Like when COVID was going on, we got a client on PC Mag because it was like tech and everyone was talking about COVID. So we did like here's how people are shifting their behavior during COVID on technology. Right. So it was kind of like a tie-in. We got links. We didn't get like any referral traffic or whatever from that, but it was like, okay, well, let's use what we can and get the links from it,
Yeah, I would add to that as well. Like just with you saying how if the royals were in the news and if it's overtaking the news and is constantly there, I guess you would just try and find the campaigns that you have or any articles that you have ready in expert comments, which can kind of maybe lend itself to that news, or target the journalists who don't typically cover like celebrity and royal news. So you can go for like the more B2B kind of angle rather than the B2C angle. So you've got that other aspect covered. So you're still kind of building those links.
So it sounds like the panelists are being very nice to each other here, and no one's really wanting to disagree or tell the other person doesn't have a valid point. But maybe then we can talk about how we can really work more effectively together, and perhaps at the beginning of the year establish some strategy that incorporates both digital PR and conventional link building and really make the optimum use of both different elements there. Amit, I see you nodding away there. Alex there as well. Let's go to Alex first because we haven't heard from you for a little bit. So how would you sit down maybe at the beginning of the year or perhaps once every quarter or however often you sit down with a client and define that strategy and also incorporate elements of digital PR and more conventional link building into that?
Yeah, well, I think the problem with links, right, is starting from the very beginning that we have to remember that there is a reason behind any link. And in reality, right, either you're kind of streamlining this process, right, then the reason of, those links will be, your kind of activity, or that might be something that the brand itself can generate. And I think, a lot of companies, they are quite successful with generating links on their own just because they have a strong marketing team. And I think that is ideally what all our clients, right, want to have. And what we are talking about with them, that they need to actually, right, run their social media channels. They need to kind of, organize events, whatever it is, right? All those type of marketing that can actually help them connect, right, their brand with a bigger audience, right? So the people will link back to them because you can't really link to something that you don't really know, right? So it's not really possible. So first of all, you need to have certain level of brand awareness. And when it comes to, right, it doesn't matter whether it's digital PR or just kind of traditional link building. I think the main question that everyone wants to solve is also, an organic link flow, right? And sometimes we kind of experimented this. Sometimes we are quite successful with that, and we can help our clients create some certain type of content, right? For instance, like stat pages, right? Also kind of help these stat pages rank quite high in Google search results, right? With the help of just traditional link building, right? Email outreach, getting some links back to these pages, and then these links, these pages start to work on their own. And we have a very interesting client. We used to have actually this client. We are no longer working with them, but it's a UK-based social media agency. They are not really well known, guys. If I tell their name, you tell me what. So, but it's quite interesting that what we did with them together. We created a set of stat pages around TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and so on, right? All the more or less well-known social media platforms. And some of these pages, they were extremely successful in terms of their rankings. And these pages, they still generate tons of links. So they have a lot of traffic, even though people don't really know their brand, which is interesting, right? So people are linking to them just because, editors are looking for something, in Google search engine results, like, Twitter stuff, for instance, and they don't really care much about linking back to their original source. They link back to their page because it's the first page they see in search engine results. We're all lazy, right? And that is very much it. It works for them for more than 3 years, right? So, they reached the certain point of visibility, but I think the problem there that their brand is not as good at their link velocity. And that might cause a problem at the end of the day, but kind of, and that is the reason why we see a lot of fluctuations with their traffic, right? So it's kind of a little bit ups and downs, just because, from one side, they're capable of generating these links, but from other side, their brand entity is not so strong. But it works.
I think that link thing might fix the brand. I mean, we do that all the time where we rank stat pages. So we have like with our digital PR, we have a kind of content piece that we make called a trend report. And our aim is to rank for trends keywords, because we do the story, we get like, 10 links or something, and then it ranks for like whatever trends. And then we get passive links like forever. So we have one client that we ranked for sales follow-up statistics in Google, IRC Sales Solutions. And we got links from HubSpot, Neil Patel, branded mention from Entrepreneur, all because they just, like you said, they go to the stat page and they're lazy and they just take it, as long as you're like referencing the source. And I think it's not just laziness.
Nice, right?
Yeah, I think I don't think it's always laziness. If you have a better looking website, like these studies look ugly. Like I don't want to go to PubMed and read a whole wall of text and find what they're talking about. You know what I mean? Like I want to get the snippet, the summary, and then you source it accurately. You know what I mean? So I think the journalists are just also being friendly to their readers when they link to a good looking stat page that gives the accurate information versus here's an ugly wall of text for you to find what you're looking for. Like find the evidence here, like, oh, I hate that.
And Nick, in terms of establishing a strategy for a certain period of time, maybe a year, do you start with a content audit?
Yeah, I mean, I start with like a whole kind of like I look at their whole website and come up with like I have to ask about their business strategy, like what are they how are they going to make money? Like, how is this going to make money for them? Because like, if they're just trying to rank some content and like, if I'm not convinced my work is going to make them money, they're going to fire me. So I have to not do it, So it's like, I want to have a continuous relationship. So I usually look at like, clients come to us if they're already in like product market fit. Usually they're already getting sales and they're like, I want more sales. So we have to figure out how to make our work make more sales. And are they already ranking in Google for things? Is their website healthy? Is their content well written? And who is their content team? If that, maybe they need some consulting on the content end of things. It's definitely important. But I think in general, if they are just like, look, we're trying to figure out all the other SEO stuff ourselves, we just need some links, we could still do something. Like we could still put together a nice looking content piece on their website, even if all their other stuff is crap, and we can still get some links, because journalists, a lot of them just publish the press release. And we can put the link kind of however we want in that press release, and then they'll change the copy a little bit. But it can work fine, even if your website is still trash, if you're doing outbound. The problem is it's not going to work with the passive links, and you're not going to get the other value of people actually staying on your website. And if your story does get some traction as far as like branded searches, then that's not going to do anything, because you have an ugly website and people are going to bounce. So
Eva, I'm sure that you don't have any clients that have ugly websites or trash, but in terms of having conversations with clients to establish what you should be doing, how do you determine that strategy through a conversation or through a planning process?
Yeah, so we basically, bit like Nick and Alex, like we see what the client is looking for, what are they after, if there are any key areas that they want to focus on, as well as any key audiences that they're looking to target too, because they might have a primary audience, but they could also have a secondary audience, which could be like another way to build more links for them based on different types of publications. following that, we'll do like a typical backlink gap analysis, see what their competitors are up to, see what their main competitors have built, where they've built links, and how we can bridge that gap between them, and then also build new referring domains for their site. It's just about consistency of building those links as well as new referring domains, just to get ahead of the curve.
Brilliant. And Amit, what sort of initial conversation do you have with clients?
When it comes specifically to content, I think we've been kind of lucky in that a lot of the clients that come to us have, they've kind of addressed that, and then perhaps a lot of them have had content in-house, which I've always recommended to a lot of clients. Bring that in-house as much as possible when you're trying to create content with a certain level of expertise behind it. Now, obviously, there's agencies that specialize in that, and that works well also. But there's some clients where I've kind of advocated for them having that in-house, or if they can build that team in-house. But we give like kind of high-level advice in terms of what they should be doing with the content. Things like stat pages. Again, we've had clients who had that in place, and that's definitely a good way of earning links. And again, with those clients, sometimes you just find they lag behind with other pages. So they're acquiring links to those pages, but then they've got all these other pages which are not acquiring links. So we're kind of helping them on that side.
Brilliant. Okay, 5 minutes to go. So let's go around everyone, get their biggest takeaway, and just confirm where people can find you online. So we're with Amit, so let's stay with Amit. Amit, what would you say is the key takeaway that you would like to share from today's discussion? And please remind the listener where they can find you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I see value in both, but I would say digital PR, I see it as, for raising overall authority, amplifying branded search, and all those other benefits. And it does help with SEO and things like that. But I think it's hard to hold a digital PR to a very strict link KPI. So they've got my sympathy there, because obviously guaranteeing top tier media with that many links, that I think clients have to, it should be more about the relevance, basically. Whereas
Is that a nice
links,
way of saying that conventional link building is better than digital PR?
No, because link building or passive link earning, if you want to do it that way, I think is for, you need very targeted links, you want hyper relevance, you want to build, whether you call it topical authority or something else. I think links are good for that. And you want to get links with very specific audiences, and you're not able to do that with digital PR in some cases. So I think link building is valuable in that way.
Where can people find you, Amit?
Yeah, so you can find me on the agency on thelinksguy.com, or we're on Instagram, which is linksguy, and Facebook as well.
Superb. Thanks for coming on. And Alexandra, what would be your number one takeaway from today's discussion, and where can people find you?
I think, in my opinion, right, digital PR is an essential part of anyone's well-being when it comes to well-being online, right? And just because through digital PR you can get very influential brand mentions, right? And I think, so nowadays, even though technical link building or whatever it is, whenever you build links to specific pages is still quite important, I think what's way more important in my understanding is kind of streamlining the portion of link that you're getting with your branded anchor text back to your main page. And that's where digital PR should be a great match, because if you just get links back to specific pages, then the next Google update is going to devalue your links. That's what will happen. So you need to get enough links back to your main page, back to your homepage, right? And that is very important. And that might be not necessarily do follow links, including brand mentions. So that's what I see as the main challenge when it comes to building links nowadays.
And where can people find you, Alexandra?
Oh yeah, sure. You can find me on LinkedIn. I have put this.
Lovely.
At Alexandra Tachalova.
Alexandra Tachalova. Thank you for joining us, Alexandra. And Nick,
My pleasure.
what's your final takeaway?
I definitely think you need both. And I think you can, it's like diversifying your investment. You know, you got to diversify your link portfolio or profile. So I think both can be done in the same kind of campaign. You can put something together to achieve PR objectives and link objectives at the same time. Like, I think all four of us could accomplish that. That kind of thing. Like, we all have the heads, you know, it seems we all know SEO, and it seems we all know how to do outreach, which is basically what PR is, but with a press release, you know? So that's my takeaway. And yeah, you can find me at rankomedia.com.
Super. Thanks for coming on, Nick. And Eva, what would be your number one takeaway?
My number one takeaway would be that both can work together hand in hand, but I do believe that it needs to be done in a more organic way. So much like digital PR, it's a very organic way of building a link. As long as the conventional link building is done at a, I don't know, steady kind of way, rather than a sudden influx of links randomly just appears, I would say that would benefit like a site. And overall, just don't pay for links. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely don't.
Yeah.
Where can people find you,
Pay to
Eva?
agencies, right?
Yeah, definitely. You can find me on Twitter. It's Eva Cheng PR, and also LinkedIn. So it's Eva Cheng.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I've been your host, David
thank
Bain. You've been listening to the Majestic SEO panel. If you'd like to join us live next time, sign up at majestic.com/webinars. And of course, check out our other series at SEOin2024.com. In the meantime, bye-bye for now.